Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? We got Ethan here. We got Kayla here. I've got my coffee here. How is everyone doing? Ethan, I think library red class should fix it. I'm just going to drink all the coffee this morning. The associate function is in red class. So let me load up R here. We got so many things open. What was I doing yesterday? I was doing like coin flips. Oh man, let me save this before I go over here. It's really cool. Coin flip simulation. I gotta remember to save the stuff I do. Got two questions. Milton's call, yeah. Is it worth it for someone that is not on the BAS path? Like someone who's a math major, stat minor? Yeah, I think we've had people do that in the past. So thank you, Kayla, for asking about that. Let's talk about the Milton Scholars to start. And feel free, Ethan, to ask any questions. Ethan, let us know if that's working for you. I'll show this really quick, and then I'm gonna. So here I'll just address Ethan's question kind of directly, and then Kayla, let's talk about the Milton Scholars a little bit. So good work, good. Let's head to the main screen. Okay, so the association function, I think it's association. Do I already have it up? You see there it is inside of red class. So you're welcome, Ethan. I think you got it working now. So if you notice here, it's inside of red class. So it'll run if it's inside of red class. There's a way to detach libraries. It's a whole you have to, I don't know. You can detach the library. It's a lot of work. I don't know why. That fixed it. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Ethan. I don't know why people would detach a library, but I know what it does. I understand the purpose of it removes the library, but I don't know why you'd be like, I really have to remove this library. Maybe it's resource management. But red class right here, you can see all the functions inside of it. This is not the global environment anymore. It's now what's inside the package. And you can see the associate function right here. There's the associate function, and you can take a look. I think if you click it, view associate. Oh, there you're just viewing the function. Well, let's start with the Milton Scholars a little bit here. So the Milton Scholars, let me pull up some info on it. The Milton Scholars was started by George and I believe Peggy Melton. Sorry, Miss Melton. I believe it's Peggy Melton. I'm going to double check before I say a wrong name 3 times. There's George Melton. Here's the 2007. So we'll go to this page, and then we have another Milton Scholars. And the answer, Kayla, is 100% you should apply. We've had many people. Here's the more recent one. Oh my God, I remember this picture. I was right there. I was down the hallway. That's in the top of the student union. And then we should have, here's info here. We'll bring up this info. And there was a picture of George and Peggy Milton. I don't know where their picture went. Here's the YouTube video. And does it have George and Peggy Melton on here? There's Dr. Petrie at the end. Oh, man. There's Dr. Petrie. Man, I miss Dr. Petrie. Is that outside his house maybe? Okay, let's talk about the Milton Scholars. So if you do the Milton Scholars, you'd be working with, Dr. Petrie's the one who gets people assigned. Hey, Dr. Petrie, what's happening? So he grew a beard like a year ago, or it was before COVID he grew the beard. So that's not a COVID beard. That's I decided to grow a beard. So he grew the beard, and I don't know. I'm finally getting used to it. When he shaves the beard, I'll be like, oh my God, it's no beard, Dr. Petrie. But a lot of the Milton Scholars right here, man, everybody, seeing all the Milton Scholars and everyone here. And you can see the first group of Milton Scholars we had. Here's our first group of Milton Scholars. Nick Brown is a big part of this. Nick Brown's the reason we have data camps. This gentleman right here is Nick Brown. And I'm going to totally mess up everyone's name. Always afraid to say people's names. I'm going to mess up. That's Joseph Trice. That's Elizabeth. That's Nanika. She got into Harvard doing, I believe, business at Harvard. She's done a lot of amazing stuff. Like she's all-star. They're all all-stars. So, and I'm trying to think, I tried to get everyone's name: Nicholas Brown, Theo Tran, Elizabeth Nichols, Joseph Trice, Nanika, and Isaac. So I missed Isaac's name. Hey, Mubarak, good to see you here. So if you're thinking about Milton Scholars, this is the group. This is the first group of Milton Scholars. A more recent group of Milton Scholars is everyone here. There's Tanner. There's Tanner right there. There's Harris. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to mess up everyone's name. I'm so afraid. My brain's just breaking. Gosh. There's Savannah. Just seeing everybody right here. There's Kenny Miller. So everybody right here, top tier candidates. And one thing I want to point out is, especially if you go back to the first group right here, Nicholas Brown was business analytics, currently majoring in, look right here. Kayla, do you see it? Boom. Kayla right there. Check that out. for what you said, Kayla. Perfect. Exactly. And she worked with Michelle Ballings. And Michel Ballings is really great. He's from Belgium. Such a nice guy. And I just miss everybody. Like it's just so crazy. And I really want to like go and travel the world and see all these places because we have people from our department from all over the world. And that's the coolest thing about like working, at a university, getting to like, it makes the world like a much smaller place and getting to know these people and their experiences and their specialties because they're geniuses. They're really smart. I'm just some dude who streams on the internet. So Elizabeth Nichols was statistics, double major. So you don't have to do business analytics. Hey, Roger, good to see you here. And then Joseph Trice, I think so he was finance. He was accounting and finance with collaterals. So he was doing a lot of things. I mean, so the main thing is like people, nice Marshall Evans morning. Oh, good to see you here, Alexander. Good to see you. Let's throw some, is Mubot, you awake? Mubot, you awake? Or we will re-wake up Mubot here. Question 2. If the question on the take-home doesn't explicitly say something, we don't need to do it right. For example, create some model, only create, no need to visualize. Yep, you only need to do the things on the take-home that are required. So only things that are required. Supply chain, like complete all-star right here, like Harvard and everything. And I'm proud of, you don't need to go to Harvard for me to be proud of you. I didn't go to Harvard. But, the degree to which people are doing stuff. And she worked with Bogdan Bacescu. I miss Bogdan. I haven't seen Bogdan in forever. Bogdan's great. Isaac, double majoring in statistics and economics. So there you go. You don't have to do anything in business analytics. We're just trying to, if you're doing amazing stuff. One of my students, I don't think she got it, and I was so sad because I have no control over these things. I just and I think she's going to vet school right now. But one of my students she was an honors student I had as a student, and then she went to vet school, and she was doing research and everything with vet school and everything. And she was one of the I don't know if she knew that she made it that far along in the process, but she was way up there. And it's just tough. Like we get to a lot of good candidates and what they're really looking for. So what are they looking for in a Milton scholar? Man, I just said I'm gonna cheat. Scott Lawson, of course, Scott Lawson right there. I'm sorry, Scott. I haven't seen you in a year and a half now. I know I saw your graduation photos. Congratulations, Scott. Scott, you're awesome. Like everyone up here, I know. Like, and then sometimes just a name jumps out of my head for a half second. It is crazy COVID year. Woo! But like Harris and I met in the student union to talk about like business analytics stuff. We just met, had some like lunch, I think got some coffee and just talked. Tanner, I've known for like 2-3 years now. It seems like forever. Tanner's such a nice guy. Now I just miss seeing him in my office, just like doing work. Savannah, so nice. I think it's Elizabeth too. And I don't get everyone's ring wrong. I miss everybody. I miss all of you people. I miss everyone. I miss you, Dr. Petrie. But so the biggest thing to note right here, is that you can come from all different backgrounds to do, there we go, statistics, business analytics, marketing. So look, 2 statistics people are here. Brandon Bell, statistics. Brian Haney, statistics. There's business analytics, accounting. So some people don't even have it. First cohort, there we go. Nick Brown, so he wasn't included yet. And there's the first cohort about the program. And so has this got the Meltons? They had a picture of the Meltons on here. So I hope that answers. So if I am a supply chain management business, yeah, you could apply, definitely. Yeah, no, they're all about it. They're all about, I swear, George and Peggy Melton, born in Maryville. There we go. Wait, Maryville. Wait. I know people know where Maryville's at. Milton, a Tennessee native born in Maryville, is a graduate of Red Bank High School in Chattanooga. So you go, Maryville native. So what's really, really cool, and huge thank you to George Melton, because this is something to really get excited about. We've had so many amazing students. These are the top tier students. And you can be part of it too. It's not like you have to be a perfect student. I know. So I know you had mentioned that to me. So if you're like, how do you know that, Brian? Like, well, it's kind of a conversation. So, September 20th, 2019, this was after a faculty meeting. Dr. Petrie had asked them to meet. So we had a faculty meeting this day. And then I walk over and I see this all over here. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Dr. Petrie's like, we're taking a Melton Scholar picture. And everyone's like, Brian. And I was like, hey, what's up, guys? I missed those days. And I think I was wearing like what I'm wearing today. I was like, yes, it looks so nice. I'm gonna walk away. I just look like Brian Stevens because I always look like Brian Stevens. I can't look like anyone else. So yeah, so the Milton Scholar Program, really great group of students, really great leadership by Dr. Petrie. Thank you, George and Peggy Milton. I want to double check your name, ma'am, to make sure I'm saying it correctly, but I've seen it a lot of places, so I feel like it is. Here's about the things. I think, is this the latest thing? I sent out the links. So you get a scholarship, which is absolutely awesome. You get units of upper level courses. So I have to take more courses ever to receive this. Yeah. So what it is you'd actually get credit, and they should be pretty like talk to Dr. Petrie. He's really great about emailing back. You can say I'm a math and statistics major. I'm doing these things, and they're all about like this would be upper level division courses. So you'd be getting 400 level courses. You'd be doing research. So yeah, they're all about let's make this happen. They'd want to make sure it works with you, and you'd be getting a scholarship for doing it. You'd be getting the $3,400, which is awesome. I mean, you shouldn't be like, I should do this because of money, but I mean, what is better than going to school and getting paid to go to school? Like, I mean, I think that's really cool that the courses you're taking, you're going to get paid to take the courses. Imagine if every course paid you to take them. That'd be like, oh wow, I can just take courses and get paid to take them. Which I hope that covers enough for the cost and everything of the courses. But the point is not that you're taking additional courses. The point that is it should go to your coursework. So I'm sure, I don't know, we know advisors and stuff, especially, and here's the thing too, is people in the past have been statistics majors and stuff like that. And actually, you know what? I think Brandon Bell is on Discord. I'm not even joking. Do I have Discord on the 2 seconds here? Class is not over, but I think Brandon Bell's on Discord. Let me check, see if Brandon Bell is on Discord. I'm pretty sure Brandon Bell is so many names in my head. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Okay, let me go here. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Mark Music. I can get you a hold of any of these people though. I'm thinking of Mark Music though. It says double literal names. So, Kayla, if you want to speak to any of these people, ask them about their experience, ask them about how it would apply to statistics, mathematics. I can get it. Like, we can get you a hold, email conversations with anyone here. So what is this? Can we work on? You bet. This is the Milton Scholar right here. And we did some chapter 10 earlier or yesterday, but we can do it today. Oh, I didn't mark yesterday's video, did I? What did I put in yesterday's video? Man, I hate when things are a blur. I got to stop, like, I don't know. I'm like, wait, I streamed yesterday's office hours, and I did not mark that video? No, I did not. There's no way I marked that, because I do not remember putting all timestamps in there. What timestamps did I add to yesterday's video? Let me go look at that really quick. 2 seconds, and we'll do some more chapter, because that's due tonight. Oh, God, I probably need to put those timestamps on today. Oh, and today's video says March 11th. Haha. I copy the, so let's change this to March 16th, to which it is. I copy the whatchamacallit, the label of the video. Sorry. I was up last night working on getting the stuff done for the asynchronous class. I sent them an email, and there's me talking. And I was like, I am finishing up stuff, and I didn't mark yesterday's video. Oh, okay, we got to mark that video. Okay, I was like, I marked the other videos, I marked class videos. What video did I mark? I don't know. Oh, I marked the Kahoot. That's what I did. Marked the Kahoot, and I missed office hours. I knew I missed something. So I'm having problems with ours too. Although my take home, you didn't mark the video. Yeah, no timestamps. Yeah, no, sorry about that. That is my fault. Let me send you to the part in yesterday's video where I load the take home. So I load the take home yesterday. Do you want me to show that again real quick in this video? I'll go to space. I'm sorry about that, not marking. When you do the make exam function, it saves the RMD. Exactly, Kayla, you're exactly right. So I definitely would make the take home early. Yep. So that's exactly what Kayla's pointing out. It'll save it to your computer. And so here I will go show how to do this again, just so we can all see it. And then we'll do some chapter 10, or feel free to ask questions. I am sorry about not marking the video. I'm sorry. I'm sure no one's gonna be like, Brian, you're horrible. You've let us down, Brian, for the last time. I'm sorry. I said I have to sleep. No, I should have had that done. I should have. My brain just, it didn't see it. Let's go over here. Let's go over to the take home midterm. Oh, thank you, Roderick. I appreciate. I don't. If anyone's ever, it's exactly. I was saying. We're not all perfect. Like, not even me. Sad times. Let's go here to the take home midterm. So we're just downloading it. Did it download on my other computer? Oh, gotta click it twice. Back in the day, you only had to click it one time on Canvas. Today, you have to click it twice. So when you do this, you need to make sure. Here's the biggest thing. I can't state this enough. Oh, thank you so much, Kayla. I really do appreciate that. Like, I hold myself to a very high standard. And then I promise you, I'm not really sad that I didn't mark the video, but I do feel a little bit like, oh, I forgot to do that. So this is huge right here. Exactly. So with this right here, we have, we didn't give the points. Let's give the points for positivity. So Kayla, make sure to notice this right here. Mubot should be awake. There we go. Points for positivity. Let's do this. So make sure you're loading this inside of our studio. I can't state this enough. This is the number one error I see when people are emailing me is they say, Brian, the function won't load. They say, Brian, it just won't work. And then I say, send me a screenshot. And then they send me a screenshot on their side of R. So the number one error I see is people are trying to load the take home inside of R, not our studio. Now, if your take home did not load in our studio immediately, please go to this button right here. This is the load button for the load workspace, and that'll load the file. So you could also type things in like this, but I don't want to type that in. Mine just does it by default because I've associated the file. I know Kayla's just great job. Like, amazing points, everybody. Amazing work. Kayla's all the way. Gosh, I love seeing it. Once people get to higher tiers, though, there's even more. You never know. So now we're going to go to make.exam, and then we're going to put in our number. It doesn't matter if you put the zeros or don't put the zeros. It doesn't matter. Either way you do this, perfectly fine. Don't do that. So if you do this, or you do this, perfectly fine. Both will come out. Here, I'll do it with the zeros, and you'll see when it makes it right here, it'll say making exam this. This is the file you need to find on your computer. It'll save to your working directory. I just, put the block screen up here, the loading screen, and then I'm gonna load the file right here. And I just use the Windows button to find the file. So I just go to Windows and I load the file this way, and I'm just gonna click to open the file. And here's the file right here. Does this make sense, Roderick? How's it looking right here? How's everything with loading this file and everything going? Does this all make sense? Has it loaded? What step are you to? At this point, we should have the midterm loaded. Not the final. We're not at the final yet. I'll drink more coffee. We'll do some chat. Which one are you working on? Chapter 10, Alexander. We can do more chapter 10. Chapter 10. Probably mark that. I'm going to go mark that video between office hours. Mark the video. We're getting groceries tonight from HEB. Good morning, Jacob. Good to see you here. Good to see you. We're going to do some chapter 10 in a moment, but feel free to ask questions. Try to balance the office hours between stuff. I messaged someone on Reddit because they were asking statistics questions. They're like, I'm in a statistics course and I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I was like, I shouldn't post the channel. I don't want to be like, I stream on YouTube. And people are like, let's go do that dude's stream. But I said, if you have questions, I don't know. So I'm just waiting for a random Reddit person to show up and say, what's a t-test? And I'll say, aha. Let's talk about the t-test for a second. I need help on the quiz, good sir. Which one? I'll start pulling that up here. So it looks like, I think Roderick might be good on loading the midterm. Yeah, so if it says that means it's already created. So with this, you can't find it. Are you on a Mac or a PC? All of them. Which one are you working on, Jacob? We'll start some chapter 10 in a second. Be like the roller coaster one, the drunk driving one. There's one on that. Please don't do that. Brian jokes about a lot of stuff, but he doesn't joke about that. So Mac. On a Mac, hit Command Spacebar. So you want to hit Command and then Spacebar. So you'll hold Command and then you'll hit Spacebar. You bet, Jensen. Good to see you here, Jensen. So hit Command Spacebar. And then that'll bring up the global search on the Mac. Start typing in exam S21. Oh, I know. There's so many. It's there's a bunch of ones that are the questions are just so specific. And then I hate the ones that say We got one wrong yesterday. We're not going to get one wrong today. Good morning. We're going to get 0 wrong today. That's what we're going to do. It's funny. I watch a bunch of different YouTubers and like to live stream, and it's like, it's just, I don't know. I really think, I don't know. You guys know I like this, and I'm glad people like this too, but maybe the people who don't like it don't watch. My first one was the PTA one, you bet. We'll start here with Jensen says, the question where you go through the different scenarios and give the bias it leads to. Oh, is that I think that might be the PTA one, Jensen. And then I install it in in our studio. Well, no. Once you load this up here, have you found the file? You'll load this inside of R, and this should load up inside of our studio. Like you might meant our studio. We'll do the PTA one next here, you bet. So stay tuned. Don't leave. I said, I'm like, you can leave if you want. So is it loading up there? So I realize people probably mean our studio when they say R, but technically this is our studio. I mean, I'll just call it R a lot of times. I'll be like, yeah, let's load up R. It did open our studio. Boom, you're good to go. Nice job. The global search on the Mac is really cool. If you didn't know, if you have a Mac, you can hit Command Spacebar, and that does a global search. Really great thing to know, the global search option. And then you're fine. We did one of the questions yesterday. Windows button. If you click the Windows button, which is on the bottom left of your keyboard, you're struggling with all these, and it sucks because it seems like it's much simple concepts, just really specific. Yeah. Let's check it out. Let's go do it. Let's get on it. We got this. I think one time I was like watching a stream and someone was like, I was in your stats class. I don't know. It was like a couple hundred people were watching. They were like, bro. This is craziness. Who does anyone here have favorite YouTubers, or I gotta ask like TikToks now, like who's your favorite person on TikTok? Cause I'm cool with the times. It's Grandpa Brian here. I should not make these jokes. In 30 years, it will not be funny. Gosh, I think about those things. I was talking about like, I think the scary thing was like, I don't know. I don't want to be 40. Oh, that's probability. We're not doing probability today. We are doing. Here we go. We're doing this one. Let's do some chapter 10. Brian's going to talk about turning 40. My recent observation is Cinnamon Toast Ken. Oh, that's. I'll check that out. So I know like Peanut Butter Gamer. He's a gamer. I know that. That's all I know. I'm good. Thanks for my. We are so young, aren't we? I like it. I'll take it. Is it question 3? No. Let's find it. Amusement park to the ranch. Oh, that's awesome, Jensen. If not, Stats ATK. It's a chemistry YouTube. Whoa, what chemistry YouTube channel? Tell us about it. Here, we'll start this up. You ready? So we're doing the PTA one. I'm glad there's a bunch of academic YouTubers out there. I'm subscribed to so many, like on this channel, I'm subbed to like so many, like what's his name? It's like there's like a black pen, red pen guy. He's really great. Just subscribed to a mathematician at Carnegie Mellon, and what's his name? Professor Leonard, I think. He's really awesome. He does mathematics. Like, I think there's a lot of good math educator. Melissa Maribel is really helpful. Is she the chemistry one? Check that out if you haven't. So great advice right there. I ain't got time for YouTube. I'm one of those weird people that doesn't do social media and watches math YouTube videos. Yeah, it's like, that's like, who do you watch, Kale? What math YouTubers do you watch? Here, I'll promote someone right here. Not that they need my promotion because they're a huge channel, and then we'll get serious. This guy right here, black pen, red pen. I guess I could show his channel for a half second. Math for fun, calculus, and more. So black pen, red pen right here. Really awesome channel. Check it out if you want black pen, red pen. You can look at some of his top videos. He just did this interview, which I actually was able to chat on, and he said, I've thought about making a reaction video to it as a joke. 100 integrals, world record. Really great stuff right here. Can you solve it? 100 derivatives in one take. He's drinking energy drinks. I love this dude. He really makes math fun. Michael Penn, the math wizard, but my favorite is actually Khan Academy. Yeah, Khan Academy is great. Bailey Serena. So I might be mispronouncing that, but yeah. So check this out. Really great stuff. I mean, he looks so different. He's grown out like a little bit of a beard lately. Um, yeah, he's got a lot of cool stuff on here. Really great stuff. Drinking his coffee, iris to the eye, a lot of cool stuff. So check it out. But check out everyone's channels. Everyone else is saying so cool stuff. I love academia. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Time to get serious. Serious face. I'm gonna put a cut in the video. Let's get serious and do this. Khan Academy, top tier stuff too. That dude makes some great videos. And here we go. Let's do this. Time to do the real video. Okay. So here we go. We're talking about a PTA, and we want to figure out what kind of sampling method they're using, and we're going to also figure out if there's any sort of bias. Now, there's good sorts of sampling methods. We reviewed in class the good types of sampling methods. So if you want, if you're not in our class especially, you can pause the screen because I added some extra notes to these. Don't worry about the color scheme there. So here we are with a simple random sample. There's how to simple random sample. We were doing M&M examples. Here we go with systematic. There's systematic. And here is the way to systematic sample. We added some notes. Here's stratified. And here is how to stratify. We added some notes. And then we go down here to cluster sample. Here is how to cluster sample. And then we did some other examples. But so was this? Yeah, we did the main campus and the on-campus. Yep. So just some examples right there, and let's see if we can then figure out. Now, those are random sample methods. Sometimes they can incur a little bit of bias, but they're usually pretty good. So send a survey home with every student, ask parents to fill it out and return it within a week. What is this? This is actually not on the notes we just did, but we should know this one pretty quick. They want to get every student. That's the key right here. The key to this is they are trying. I'm trying to give you a hint. The key to this one is that they are trying to get every student. So they're trying to get every student. Their goal, their I'm gonna drink coffee and you're gonna solve it. Their goal is to get every student. You go, Brian, you don't know the answer. I promise you I know the answer. Their goal is to get every student. I know this one for certain. Their goal is to get every student. That's their goal. As in they might not achieve it, but they're gonna something it. So which one would this be? A, B, C, or D? Their goal is to get every student. And their goal is to get every single student to respond. No ideas? No! Anybody? Let's throw some 20 points, wake everyone up. Who knows? Their goal is to get every student. Attempt at a census. So much. Thank you, Alexander. Excellent work right there. They are attempting to do a census. They are attempting. Now, think about this. Where would there be bias before kind of looking down at the bias? Just think about it for a moment, and that'll help guide you when you look at the answers. The problem here is probably going to be some parents won't respond. Like some parents will just be like, I don't want to do this. So what are we going to see? We're going to see that there's going to be non-response bias. So they're not undercovering because this is if they like didn't send it home to certain parents, not under coverage. And response bias would be like if they worded, there can always be response bias, but it's probably going to be that some parents, you know, are not going to respond because and then those parents who don't respond are going to be different than those who do respond because maybe it's like, you know, how active are you in your child's life? And if you're not responding to a survey, well, then your responses may be different than those who do respond. So non-response bias is when those who don't respond differ in the ways than those who do respond. And if there is a question like, how active are you in your child's education? Then the parents who don't fill out the survey are probably not as active. So we're like, oh, wow, everyone's very active. That's because the people filled out the survey are active. Randomly select one of the grade levels. Now, this is where people get confused. This is where the confusion happens. Let's talk again about the two, because I'm going to narrow it down to two here. Cluster versus strata. So when you do a cluster, the way you cluster, hint, hint, the way you do cluster sampling, oh, that's the other notes. The way you do cluster sampling is clusters are randomly put into groups. Where's my cluster notes? Clusters are randomly put into groups. We randomly select a cluster, and then we do a census on the cluster. Now, okay, there's a theoretical problem with this one. Not that I'm saying what the answer is. That maybe we didn't randomly assign these things into groups. But the main idea that we should notice here is there's maybe two elements of this, at least, that are strongly present, that we are taking a whole group at once and doing a census of the group. Not saying that this is the answer. Wink, wink. But when you talk about stratified is when we acknowledge a difference in the population And then we have to sample, we create these different groups, and then we sample from those groups. So we've got here a regular donut, and we've got here a filled donut. That's going to be a Boston cream donut, and that's just your regular glazed donut. And then we're going to sample the percentages. So we did M&Ms also yesterday. And we'd say maybe our factory makes regular M&Ms and pretzel M&Ms. So we're going to sample 80% regular M&Ms. We want a sample size of 1,000. And so we're going to sample 800 regular M&Ms and 200 pretzel M&Ms to do the proper ratio. So does this look like we're doing a proper ratio to this, where we're saying we need a certain ratio? Or does it look like we're taking a whole bunch at once and then doing a census on that group? Which does it look like, cluster or stratified? This is your time to practice and to make sure you know it. So if you're watching the video, pause the video here and be like, do I know? I mean, Brian gave a lot of hints right there which one this is. So it's missing the one element of, like, it's just not a perfect example of this. And then they kind of, I think they mentioned the bias down here at the end of that. Like, it's not perfectly doing that, because the key assumption that they'd be randomly put into groups is not there. Because exactly, Jacob, it's cluster, 100% cluster. And so we would go down here and we might say under coverage, should be under coverage. Yeah, exactly, cluster. Great job, everybody. 20 points. Thank you, everybody, practicing right here. Is definitely cluster, and this is the practice we need. Taking a whole grade level. Now, how could they stratify by grade level? Like, they could use grades as strata, and this is where people are like, wait, how can you use grades as cluster and grades as strata? When you use grades as a cluster, you'd take a whole grade and do a census on that whole grade. But if you do grades as strata, which would probably be a better idea, you would say, okay, we need 20 parents from each grade level, which we might have one that kind of does something like that. They don't use grade level. But if you took 20 parents from each grade level to like talk to, that would be treating grades as strata. Does that make sense? Treating grades as strata says we need to acknowledge a difference. Grade levels have differences, and then we need to sample according to those differences. So let's take 20 parents from each grade level. Now grade level is a strata where we sample from each strata. If we say grades is a cluster, we're going to take a whole grade at one time and sample everyone within that whole grade. So notice the difference between using grade as a strata, taking 20 parents from each grade level, assuming there's equal percentages in each grade. Like maybe there's more fifth graders, so we need to take 25% fifth graders. I don't know. It just depends on the percentages of the population that they make up. Who here thinks they understand how strata and cluster are different and work? Like, because this is usually where the confusion is on this chapter. So I think if you can understand the grade example with using grade as strata, and you can understand using grade as clusters, then you can draw the differences to be like, okay, they both deal with groups, but clusters taking the whole group at one time and doing a census on that group. Strata is acknowledging differences and then sampling in accordance to those differences. So it's, you know what, last example with this, because I think we can talk about the Neapolitan ice cream. We talked about that in one class here. I think the Neapolitan ice cream makes sense. Would you prefer to sample, and actually your answer just depends on how you like to eat your ice cream. Who wants to cluster sample this Neapolitan ice cream? Who wants to stratify this Neapolitan ice cream? And I'm going to explain. So let's put here cluster versus stratified, and I'll highlight which I'm doing. Cluster or stratified. So I will give you a sample of this ice cream that's either a cluster or a strata. It's my best ice cream scoop. So my artistic skills are bad. Sure. There we go. Okay. Ice cream scoop. One of these days it'll let me do what I want. We'll see what the chat is saying here in a second. There's ice cream scoop. Yes. I have it now. Animation. Okay, people want a stratified. It's probably what a lot of people want. So if I'm going to go stratified, I'm going to take like a certain percentage from this right here. I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to take a certain percentage of this right here. And then we're going to put it right here. And a certain percentage of this right here. Are we doing these? Yep. This is the start of 201 today. This ice cream scoop needs to be a lot smaller to make those things. So does everyone understand when we do stratified right here, we're acknowledging the differences and we're going to take a percentage of this right here, put it right there, put there. So if you were to stratify this, you would get the following. if you stratify, you're going to acknowledge the differences, and you'd probably get something like this. Like your ice cream soups are all like that. This is when you stratify sample this. So this is stratifying right here. Now, in truth, actually, if you were to cluster sample, here's what cluster sample would look like. Which I would not cluster sample this if you want. In cluster sampling, go right here. And so here's what a cluster sample would look like. You go right here and you take all of this. This is the cluster sample. There we go. And so now we're talking about a cluster sample. And there's a cluster sample. Because what are you going to do in a cluster sample? So now we have the cluster sample here. And we'll highlight which one we're talking about to make clear. What do you do in a cluster sample? I hope this helps, because this is a big important topic where people usually just take a guess. And they're like, I don't know. It's one of the two. So what is the key aspect of cluster sampling? So I would probably stratify this. Most people probably want their ice cream stratified. So when you do a cluster sample, you get groups, and you take all of one group. You take exactly, Lauren. Great job, Lauren, right there, 20 points. This is where that's a cluster sample, so I hope the color coding here helps people to see that the cluster sample is probably not how people want their ice cream taken. Census of that group or cluster, exactly. So we took one group, and it's assuming, and these are not randomly put into groups, so probably you don't want to cluster sample this, because you're not going to get a representative view of the population here. So the stratified sample on the far left side is going to be a representative view of that population of ice cream. It's kind of like grade level. That's why, taking one whole grade level is probably not the best idea. That's the cluster sample there, where we take a group and do a census on the group. Here's the stratified, where we acknowledge differences between the groups, and we sample in accordance to those differences. So that's the way it would go, and hopefully that makes more sense with the topics we're going over right here. So let's do a new one. Send a notice home to each parent and ask to contact the PTA and record their opinions. Ooh, that is going to be, oh man, this is a tough one. I think that's going to be voluntary. So I'm pretty sure it's between voluntary and convenience. If you get this one wrong, as always, email me, because I'm 50-50 on this one. That's going to, oh, there we go. It's voluntary, and it's going to have voluntary bias. So I think we're good on that. Ask the parents for their opinions when they visit the PTA booth. So this one is going to be, it's probably going to be convenience. Yeah, it's not stratified. It's not systematic. It's not simple random. We did this one yesterday too. What kind of bias would this result in? Under coverage, because this is weird when you have to know this, which I wish they made this more clear, that only people at this parent-teacher conference are going to be in the PTA, which I didn't know you need to be in the PTA to go to the parent-teacher conference. Not today, Mal Pearson, not today. Let's get one more version of this question right here. You have to load up a new one. It won't give me new ones unless I do this. Every 10th student, this should be what? It's systematic. So we've talked about systematic a lot, where you go to every blanked observation. This is a good sampling method, so bias would only result if we don't do it properly. Take a look. Bias would result if we don't do it as follows. Next one we have right here, randomly select 10 parents from each elementary grade level. I need everyone to tell me what this is. I'm not going to show you the answer yet, but you need to tell me. Randomly select 10 parents from each elementary school, send them a survey. The schools are now being treated as the whats. The schools are now being treated as the whats. So this is a topic we just covered, great review thing. Each school is now its own what. Boom, right there, Lauren. Strata, I don't care. We're just going to keep giving away points. This is the practice we need. Shows you're listening in. I really appreciate it, because as you practice this, great job, Leslie and Kayla. It's just good practice. It's great knowing these topics, that this is stratified right here. And this is a good sampling method. It'd be representative of the different schools. So bias would only result if we don't do it as follows. Ask the parents for their opinions at the next PTA meeting. Is this the same voluntary one we got before? Because this sounds voluntary. Oh, no, that's going to be convenience. We already did this one, right? They said have a booth. This is either convenience or voluntary. So, yeah, it's going to be convenience. There we go. It's weird, because the other one that was voluntary, and they... So we got right here, you're going to get, it's going to be bias. Undercover. See, this one's tricky. Undercover bias since the only PTA, yeah. That's so tricky. Because they're... Yeah, that one might have caught me. I don't know. That's a harder one. Randomly select one of the grade levels and contact every parent. That's a cluster again, and under coverage. Let's look at one more version. And then what questions do you have? Feel free. We're open on questions. I mean, I can go to a different random one. Randomly select one of the grade levels. We did that one. So we've done that one. Randomly select 100 parents and send them a survey. Follow up with a home visit. Ooh, we haven't done this one yet. So basically the way they would do this, and they don't go into too much detail, is that they would randomly select these parents, probably with a random number generator. So, we can do this in R. We can go over here. We can say, here's what's great about R. We have, let's say 4,522 parents, and we want 100 random parents. There you go. There's the 100 random parents we'll be contacting. So I just did an example of what kind of sampling right here. So I love R for this reason, because you could just say, go to the list and contact these people right here. Even better yet, we will get different random numbers, but you could just sort these numbers also to make life easier. And there's the sorted version of these numbers. That's why R is awesome. If you know these little commands right here, you can just be like, boom, give me these numbers, give them sorted to me. Also, if you wanted to replicate it, something we should know, we will get different numbers this time, but I could replicate the results so that every time we do it, we get the same results. And there we go with the same results. Now, if we rerun it, we will get different results without running the set seed. And so we're just throwing a little 320. This would not be strata. Good guess right there, Alexander. Let's throw 20 points. It's not strata. Everyone is given a random number. So everyone is given a random number. And so everyone's given a random number. Every item is given a random number. Randomly select those numbers. Every item is given a random number, and then randomly select those numbers. This is 100% simple random sample. So this is a simple random sample. So wait, did we pass it? There it is, simple random sample. And this is a very good way to do stuff. This is perfectly fine. No bias, no bias. Bias would only result if put a big ad in the newspaper. That's going to be voluntary again, or convenience. This is going to be convenience. No voluntary. Sure, whatever. And voluntary bias, yeah. That gives it away. If you're between voluntary and convenience, because I've done this one a lot, and you see here that there's voluntary bias, and you're between these two, then it's voluntary. List of the names of the students alphabetically. Contact every 20th student, 25th student. That's going to be stratified, and that's a fine way of doing it. Stratified, and yeah. What other questions are there? This PTA one's tough. I think we've done almost all the versions of it that are possible. We did this one home. We've given away a lot of answers right here. Mail a survey to the home of every student. Ask the parents to fill it out within a week. That's going to be under coverage. Attempt a census. We did that one very early. List the name of students alphabetically. We did the booth one. We did that one yesterday too. I think done a lot of versions of this one. Trying to think which ones we didn't do yesterday. Which questions are there? 201. Feel free to let me know. We got time at least for 2 or 3 more, I think. So that's the PTA question. Pretty tricky, but not too bad. The obesity one, you bet. Let's go away. There's the amusement park one. Is it? No, that one's not it. They changed the names of it. Is this the obesity one? Can you send me the first part of the question, Alexander? If you can send me the first part. We should. You know what we should do? I should do an interview with one of them. Trying to think do I have access to one who could hop on today? I'd love to do an interview and he'll take their questions. So if we could do that, that'd be great. Hey Adam, what's up? I'm working on my take home right now library. That is awesome. Great job. Start early. The earlier you start, if you're running into any problems, you can be like, hey Brian, I got stuck on this part. I can't really tell people what to do, but I can, if someone's like, I can't get this to load, I can be like, here's how to load it. To find the public's view on obesity. Let's find that one. Here it is. So it's going to be this one. There we go. Here we go. Okay. So the way they just do different versions of this. So I want to do the version you're doing, but let's do this right here. With this question, we're going to try to do the answers without looking at them because I have to load it. I can't, when I load the blank version, it always loads the same blank version. But when I load the solved version, it'll change the versions of the different solved ones. Nice job, Adam. Excellent work. So Alexander, I'm going to need your help big time because the answers are on here, but we need to do the answers without looking at them. So let's try this. You ready? To find the public's views on obesities, researchers waited outside a fast food restaurant. They had randomly selected from a list of such establishments. They stopped every 10th person, well, that's going to be their sampling method, who came out of the restaurant and asked whether he or she thought obesity was a serious problem. That's what they're interested in understanding. Exactly. I think the first is people. The first is definitely people. And you might say, well, why isn't it every 10th person? That's going to be their sample. Why is it not all people that go to fast food restaurants? That's going to be their sample frame. So the population parameter of interest, what is the definition of the population parameter of interest? Well, this is just the parameter. The parameter is what we want to understand about a population. So maybe you're doing an election poll and you're saying like the second is the proportion of people. Yep. That's what they want to understand about a population. Now, the only word that matters right here is parameter. People say parameter of interest, population parameter, but when you hear this, you should only just focus in on parameter. Like parameter is the word that matters because parameter is what we are trying to measure. So they're trying to measure the public's views on obesity, and there it is, proportion who think obesity is a serious problem. The sample frame, now this is where people usually get stuck. The sample frame is all people or things we have access to. If you go to the library right now, if you are Adam and you, sorry, but if you're in the library, who would you have access to? Just speak in generalities. If you're in the library, who do you have access to talk to? If you're in the library, and you are correct, Alexander, on that one. If you're in the library, who would you have access to talk to? This is what the sample frame is. If you are in the library, who would you be able to speak to? All the people who are in the library. Does that make sense? Librarians, students in the libraries. Exactly. Leslie, everyone, great job right there. And specifically, so yes, maybe people, just people in the library, right? So imagine this. We are going to randomly select one university library across all universities to speak to students, which it's a cluster sample at a location. We might say that, we have access to any students who go to the library. That's who we could technically sample. So in this instance, they're selecting one fast food restaurant out of all fast food restaurants. So technically they could have spoke to anybody who goes to fast food restaurants or restaurant customers. Technically, any restaurant customer could have been sampled because they're going to select one random restaurant. So it's like, well, you could speak to any restaurant customers because I don't know which one you went to. You could have gone to any of them, spoken to anybody. You go to a restaurant, they could have spoke to you. You're a restaurant customer. Yeah, it's a little bit iffy. Like maybe you should go to more restaurants than one. So it might be undercoverage bias then, because is that restaurant representative of all restaurants? I don't know if they get into those details on this one, but you could say I think it would undercover the differences in restaurants that there is. Because what's the difference between like a McDonald's and a Cheddar's? or a Cheddar's and a, I don't know, Outback Steakhouse. Like there's differences in like just views and all these different things. So or a Sunspot versus Outback Steakhouse. So you got like Sunspot, kind of like hippie restaurant. They got Outback, or like, eating that bloomin' onion. So, man, I just want to go ahead and eat. So the sample is going to be every 10th person they spoke to. So probably it's what's going to say. It's going to say, yeah, every 10th person. Or Stock and Barrel. Oh, no, Stock and Barrel's so good. Stock and Barrel's the best. Just, man, we're going to make it happen when I come back. We're going to make Stock and Barrel happen. The sample method, including whether or not it was randomized, they are taking a cluster at the location. It is kind of random. What are they going to say? This one's always the weird one. The 100% systematic. Yeah, that's obvious right there. Yeah. If they don't mention this, because sometimes they say they're going to speak to everybody. Sometimes this one says it's going to speak to everybody. So watch out. Yours might say it speaks to everybody. Obviously, this is systematic because systematic is every kth observation. So yeah, that one's the one that throws me for a loop sometimes, but that one's a lot easier when it does systematic. Any potential sources of bias? Yeah, look at that. Undercoverage bias. Since those interviewed, just left fast food restaurant. Yeah. And then the other undercoverage, there is no other undercoverage, but they want to understand, here's the problem, is they want to understand the public's views, so they're talking to people who go to restaurants. So this is not properly representing people's views, because think like people who don't go to restaurants probably, I don't know, I know I got a bunch of friends who are all, I eat healthy. I wish I ate healthy. And they're like, I don't go to restaurants. Like, I don't go to restaurants. They're like, yeah, Brian, because of COVID. And I'm like, I know I'd go to a restaurant if I could. I can, but personal views, just my views on everything. I think that would slip Slips me up. Oh, the question is the sampling method because sometimes they seem to be applicable. Yeah, a lot of times if they say they talk to everybody, it's a census at that location, or not. It's a cluster sample at that location, which would be a census of that restaurant because they're gonna try to talk to everybody. So watch out with the different versions of this. Yeah. Which other ones are people working on? Pretty good question. I like this one decently. They're tricky. I'll make mistakes on these sometimes. Which other ones? That's a good one. I like doing the I always like doing the go away. It's sample statistic. Oh, can we do the polling company? I got that one wrong plenty. Yeah. Which one? Put the start of it in here. What's it say about a polling company? So what does it say? Oh wait, here it is. Found it. Okay, let's do it. So at a website, it's a polling company publishes results of a new survey every day. Scrolling to the end of the published results, you'll see a statement that shows this. Results are based on telephone interviews of 1,008 national adults aged 18 or older conducted on 13, 14 years ago. In addition to sampling error, question wording, and practical difficulties in conducting surveys can introduce errors or bias into the findings of public's opinions. Wow, that's very nice of them. For the survey, identify the population of interest. I think they're pretty much saying all adults, right? Let's see. Not everyone that was called. That's going to be the people they attempted to talk to. Not everyone who responded. That's the sample. I don't think... Yeah, they're saying adults. I'm 99% certain because it looks like they want to talk to adults. Now, that they are only talking to people 18 and older. I don't think they care about everyone in the nation, though. So who do they want to understand? The question here is, who do they want to understand? If we're talking about the population, I think they're trying to understand adults. So that's pretty certain on that one. The company performs a survey by phoning numbers generated at random by a computer program. What is the sample frame? I got to be careful on this one. So this is everyone they could have technically talked to. So this is where people, I think, often make a mistake. It's everyone they could have technically talked to. Everyone that had their phone number generated are the people. Thank you so much. I bet Alexander. I think so. It's like, it's a little tricky. It's like, well, they want to understand everyone or they want to understand adults. I wish it just said they want to understand adults. It'd be like, oh, everyone 18 or older. So everyone that responded is going to be their sample. Everyone who had their phone number generated is everyone they could have attempted to contact. Everyone did not. It's everyone with a telephone. But what do you mean everyone with a telephone? If you have a telephone, you have a telephone number. What does it mean? This is a big, if you can tell me why this is the sample frame, it is everyone with a telephone, and why. The why is important right here. Why is this the sampling frame? Why is this the sampling frame? Because if you have a telephone, what could have happened? So why is this? And this is where sampling frame is one of the concepts that people often get confused on. Why is everyone with a telephone the sampling frame? Why is everyone with a telephone the sampling frame? Why would everyone with it? And remember what the sampling frame is. It's everyone we could have theoretically spoken to. So the numbers they generate are going to be probably the people they attempt to contact. But why is everyone with a telephone? So I guess it should say everyone with a telephone number or everyone with a working telephone number. Because it's like, if you have a telephone but it's not plugged in, it's like, yes, you're on the right track, Alexander. That's it. It's anyone they could have theoretically spoken to. So what they mean with everyone with a telephone is they're saying everyone who has a telephone number. If you have a telephone, then you have a telephone number could possibly generate. Exactly, Kayla. Exactly. 20 points, everyone right there. That's exactly it. You could have theoretically been spoken to. So they had access to you. That's what the sample frame is all about, is saying you have access to these people. It's not saying you speak to everybody in the sample frame. It's you could have spoken to someone in the sample frame. I call it sample frame. A lot of times they say sampling frame, but it's all the theoretical people you could speak to. So really, really great question right there. That's a tricky one, but really great question. What problems would you see? Some people do not have telephones. That's a good one. Some people were not available to answer the call. I mean, that's kind of a non-response, but it's not so awesome. Some people answered the call but chose not to participate. I mean, that's a non-response too. Not everyone with a telephone is 18 or older. They don't care about those individuals. Some people don't have telephones. Probably gonna be right. That's right. So some people don't have telephones is a problem because they want to understand. Yeah, it does say. Well, I wish it just said they want to understand adults. Some adults don't have telephones. So how are you going to get the views on adults if you can't access them? So yeah, great question. Which one? Yeah, I know they could have said the sampling frame is the tough one a lot of times for people because it's pretty obvious to understand. Like the population is everyone you want to talk to, the sample is everyone you get to talk to, but the sampling frame is the theoretical, like everyone you could have talked to. Brian, for number 6 on the take home, we only need to supply the decimal number and not the entire. Yep. No interpretations. It's all the take home's all right, wrong answers. It's all. Does that make sense, Adam? The take home is all right, wrong answers, which is good and bad. You either get it right or you either get it wrong. There is no in between on the take home. There's right or wrong. Also, big word of advice on the take home. I would just straight copy your numbers. Don't try to like type them in. I would take my number here. I would copy it, whatever it is. Yep, and then I would just copy whatever the number is. I make sure everything, like I do some plus or minus rounding on it to make sure people didn't round interestingly. Yeah, let's do the car dealership one. So don't round any numbers. Don't round any numbers. Because people often ask, what do I round to? I just say, don't round. Just put the number in. Whatever number you get, put it in. Like, as long as you haven't changed your R to weird things like I have, you shouldn't have any issues. And if you have, just put more decimals on your numbers. So, and then I can tell if your number is right. Like, you know, I put margins of errors. Unless you do some crazy rounding, like, you know, don't round p-values to like 1 decimal. That'd be insane. I mean, I'll probably do that. Let's go buy that car dealership one. I can't imagine someone rounding p-values to 1 decimal. Like, you're like, it rounds to 0. And we're like, what was it? Was it 0.04, 0.03, 0.001? What was your p-value? Don't round it. Can you explain more about the car dealership one? Great job, Adam. Great work right there. What's the car dealership one start with? I wish they didn't make so many. Which, can you give more information about the car dealership one? Like a little bit more of what it says. How counterintuitive? Which one? We'll see here what the car dealership one is. I know I've done the car dealership one. Could be this one. I hate that they change it because if you find a certain one. Oh, pollution's a serious issue. Up. Here it is. Gosh, I've done a lot of these you just have to randomly find the one that they change these questions a lot, rounding p-values to 1 decimal. Yeah, and so what is that, Adam, right there? I think I can tell you what that is. What is that p-value right there? Like, do not enter in 2.2e. I mean, I'll probably go in and change that if people do that. Like, but I mean, what is that p-value if you round it? We should know what that p-value basically is. Like, you would just tell someone your p-value is what. Like, don't worry, you could say that. But at that point, we can just say my p-value is basically this. Which I can give away this, and I can tell you how to say that. What would I say to someone if I'm like, oh, my p-value is basically this? Like, I mean, it's just, yeah, exactly. And I could say, you know, it was like 15, 16 zeros after the decimal. It's like 0.0, like tons of zeros. It's like basically 0. It's as close to 0 as it's going to get for p-values. So, yeah, and so you just say it's ridiculously significant. We got a p-value just basically at 0. If you had no report, you'd probably write that, and then, you know, people who know scientific notation. But if I'm communicating it to someone who knows a little bit of statistics, I might just say, we got a p-value basically 0. You know, it had like 15 zeros after the decimal. Ridiculously significant. So, yeah, just think about how we can talk and communicate these things, especially if you're writing reports. Well, in a report, I'm just probably going to include it, but when I'm talking to someone in everyday language, I'm just going to say, gosh, that was ridiculously significant, like 0, like 0.0. You know, I don't know. I'm an animated person. That's how I communicate. To find the public's views on pollution, researchers waited outside a car dealership. They had randomly selected from a list of such establishments. They stopped every 20th person, so it's systematic, who came out of the dealership and asked whether he or she thought pollution was a serious problem. So they're talking to people. The population parameter of interest is if pollution is a serious problem. There we go. The sampling frame is going to be what? People who do what? So the sampling frame is every person or thing we have access to. So the sampling frame is every person or thing we have access to. Oh, we will do this, Alexander. You got it. The sampling frame is every person or thing we have access to. What people or things do we have access to? Uh, I do not know, Adam. Make sure I would put my answers really quickly, Adam. I'd put them as hashtags on whatever work I'm doing. So I'd put my answers like this on my work. I would do that. Adam. I'd put my answers on my work and then go back and double check them and stuff. I would do that, Adam. That is Brian's advice right there. Yeah, it's gonna. I don't know which one. It's gonna be the people who are at car dealerships. I mean, I don't know if it has like if they leave. It's just gonna be people at car dealership, like the people like let's see what the question says. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's the sample. All people except those who work. No, it's just, I mean, so all people. No, it's not gonna be all people. All people makes it sound like we can access anybody. So it's not gonna be all people. It's gonna be like it should just say people who go to car dealerships. So anyone who's at a car dealership, because it doesn't say we're not going to speak to the people. It says doesn't say anything about the people who work there or anything. It's like we're going to talk to people at car dealerships. So yeah, people go to car dealerships. The sample is going to be every 20th person. So that's pretty easy right there. Boom. And the sampling method used, this is definitely systematic. 100% systematic. So there you go, systematic. And any potential sources of variation. I mean, we're talking to people at car dealerships, and we're talking to them about pollution. So that's going to undercover the views of the general population. So we should see undercoverage. There we go, undercover. Especially the best way to do these questions a lot of times is if you know the potential sources of bias here with non-response, response bias, undercoverage, try to figure out and go through your head and try to work out the problems before seeing the answers. That's my big pro tip. Pro tip. I got to make the pro tip thing with Brian. But, you know, we want to kind of, you know, remember these. What is the sampling method? The sampling method for mine was systematic. Yours might have said they speak to everyone at the car dealership, which would be kind of a cluster sample at a location. So small differences there. I need to go, but wanted to share a random positive. Yeah, positive six really good. I mean, well, yeah. What is it? What is it? Kill it. Tell us about it. We'll hop over to space because I have to go too. I'm gonna put those videos. Let's hop over here to space. Let's turn up the music. Let's turn down my headphones a little bit. There we go. In stats, you increase your confidence. You widen your confidence interval. In life, to increase your confidence, you widen your comfort zone. I like that. You know what we're going to do, Kayla? Check it out. I like this quote a lot. Let's go right here, Kayla. Check it out. Quote 65. Did we do the state police one? Let's go find that one. Got enough time here. I'm going to go put... I'll go find the state police one real quick. Can you post the start of the question? Where are you, state police? I hate that they changed the questions and you... Let's see, I can't find it. Sing for us. I cannot sing. I cannot sing. I feel like, Brian, your voice is deep. You can sing. I can't sing. I can play piano. State police want to estimate. Where the heck is that question? Is it on the homework? I am trying my hardest right now to find this. Why do they make it so hard to find a question? That's the PTA one. Oh, wait. No. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Adam. Trying to find the state police one here. We just saw it. I gotta slow down. There we go. We found it. They changed the wording, and it's so hard to find some of these. My first semester, I was like, where's this question? I can't find this question. They just changed the question randomly. Okay, let's do the state police one. State police want to estimate the percent of cars with up-to-date registration, insurance, and safety inspection numbers. State police set up a random roadblock and a randomly selected city block or whatever. They use They usually find problems with about 18% of cars they stop. So identify the population. It's going to be this cars, because they want to understand cars. Identify the population parameter of interest. The proportion with up-to-date registration. This is what they want to measure. What they want to measure is the parameter. That's the only word that matters. I want to keep pointing this out, that population parameter of interest is just a very wordy way to say parameter. Sometimes you'll hear people say population parameter. Sometimes you'll hear them say population parameter of interest. But the only word that matters in this whole phrase is parameter, which is what we are trying to measure about a population. If you say parameter, it literally means the same thing as population parameter of interest. Same thing. All you have to say is parameter. Next question is identify the sampling frame. So this would be any car they could have theoretically sampled. So is it cars that would go down that road? It's just any car that they could have theoretically sampled. So it's going to be all cars on the road. Any car they could have theoretically sampled. All cars on that road. Because they could have spoken to anybody on that road. So those are the cars they could have theoretically sampled. Identify the sample. Well, that's going to be the cars they stop. State police set up a random roadblock and randomly select streetcars. So any cars they randomly stop? Those they actually stopped, yeah. They actually like to stop them to, yeah, like the cars they sample are the cars they stop. Identify the sampling method. This one doesn't really, it says random. I would say this is undefined random because they don't really talk about how they've done it here. They just say it's random. So I'm going to say it's cluster at location. Are they stopping all the cars? Are they stopping? They really need to say they stop all the cars. Like 3540 on them. Like 3540, somewhere in that neighborhood. We're finishing it up today. I should be finishing up the work on that. 3540. Identify anyone who's left out of the study. The people who aren't driving on that road. This one shouldn't have that much bias. I really wish I was like not seeing the answers because, I mean, it's easier when I see the answer, obviously, but yeah, exactly. It said, like I said, people who don't take that road. You don't take that road, you'd be left out of the study. Awesome, Adam. So glad that's the goal. Identify sources bias. We're going to undercover those groups. Do I see that? Undercover. People who don't drive on that road. Does this help out right here? I hope this helps out right here. It was Sydney asking about this one right here. A pretty little tricky one. The only one that I think, I just really wish, the only one I think it's really unfair is this one. They need to say they talk to all cars on that road. That would make it a lot easier to identify that this is a clustering. This one's a cluster sample at location. They do this one on the restaurant too. When they go to the restaurant, they speak to people coming out of the restaurant. They really need, I wish this question said they speak to all people coming out of the restaurant. Because when we do a cluster sample, we take everyone in that cluster and we get data on them. So it really needs to make it clear that in a cluster sample, you do a complete census of the cluster. You're welcome, Sydney. You're welcome. And great work. We'll put on a little music. I'm going to head off. Music back on, back to space. Maybe get a second cup of coffee today. Woo, coffee. You're welcome, everybody. It is now time to leave. We will be doing class here in a little bit. As we like to say, bye for now, everyone. Bye.